This is Jonathan Agger, Fifth Pro Boxing fans. We're here in Edinburgh. Josh Taylor defends his undisputed crown against Jack Catterall February 26th. I'm with Josh Taylor. Josh, how have you found today promoting the event?
Yeah, it's good. You know, a lot of media coverage, but given it's my first fight home in a couple of years now, so yeah, it's been good. You know, it's good to get back and announce the fight finally. You know, it's been a long time coming, so yeah, it's good.
Before we get into the fight, I just want to go back to Vegas. I know you were there not so long ago. What was it like being back in the place where this all started, basically?
In Vegas?
Yeah.
It was great. You know, my profile was shot up massively since the Ramirez fight. You know, and with my fight being on ESPN and over in America, you know, it might have been a little bit dim played over here in terms of the coverage that it got being over here, but in America it certainly never lacked any coverage or, you know, people viewing it. You know, because when I got over there, that time there, just going back, you know, everybody was, you know, wanting photos and, you know, autographs and interviews, and, you know, so my profile over there has definitely shot up from that last fight, you know, and newfound fans and Mexican fans as well. So yeah,
oh, really?
It's been great. Yeah.
So was it different when you went there this time to when you went there for sort of the training camp for the Undisputed fight?
Yeah, 100%. You know, 100%. Definitely moved up a level in terms of how well my name's known over there now. So yeah, it's been great.
Last time we spoke was in the Sports Direct store just a few weeks after you became Undisputed champion. You said you were going to meet Ken Buchanan. I saw you went up to see him. How was that?
Yeah, it was good. He came down to the house, you know, came down to my house where we live and saw the belts, and I finally got to say I did it just like you, champ, you know. So it was a real proud moment for me to say that to Ken, you know, because I said to him, I've got a couple more to do and I'll be just like you, and I've got a real proud moment for me to emulate one of my heroes and do what he's done and kind of do it the same kind of way on the road and away from everybody, and, you know, lack of coverage and all that kind of stuff as well, you know, kind of done it the same way. So really proud moment. Yeah.
Last time you fought the Hydro was the Baranchik fight a couple of years ago. What's it like when you're back home compared to when you're away from home?
You know, to me, it's brilliant having big crowds. Period. You know, the biggest crowd I fought in front of was the Prograis fight down in the O2. It was in front of 18,000 people, almost sold out. You know, in front of thousands of people. That was the biggest crowd I've boxed in front of, and the atmosphere was amazing. You know, I think the whole of Scotland was down there as well. You know, because it wasn't just myself; it was on the card. Ricky Burns was on the card as well, so he's very popular up here as well. So a lot of Scots travelled down to London, and it felt like home. You know, so it was great. It's brilliant, but actually boxing in Scotland is brilliant. You know, they make a great atmosphere at the Hydro. I don't know if you've been to any of the fights there, but it's a great arena and great atmosphere.
Going into the last fight against Ramirez, the record you had against opponents, their records was like combined of 136-1.
Yeah.
Jack Catterall's 26-0, so this is now like a record of 150 over that. Does that show, you know, an undefeated fighter how much of a challenge this could be?
A challenge for me or for Jack?
Well, the fact that he's an undefeated fighter, hungry and...
So they always bring challenges, but they're all challenges. You know, I've proved time and time again that I can thrive under the pressure and under expectation and threats. So this is nothing new. I'm used to this. You know, I'm used to having to thrive under pressure. You know, with this fight, I'm deemed as a sort of the favourite. You know, so essentially, if Jack was to get the result, it would probably be an upset. But, you know, I don't tap too much into it. But, you know, I've proved time and time again that I can be the man to beat all the top fighters. Jack's a top fighter, and he's just another one on the notch on the belt. You know, so it's in the office, another day at the office. You know.
The head-to-head was pretty cordial, nothing too major happened. But I noticed when you're in fight week, you sort of flick a switch and you get right into the zone.
See you later, Andy. See ya.
You get right into the zone on fight week. When does that switch flick?
Fight week, you know, or a couple of weeks from fight, the mentality starts changing. You know, even probably about a month out, the mentality starts changing. But the mentality can change at the click of a finger. You know, it can change straight away. I'm a fighting person, so the mentality is there right there on the surface at all times. So, aye, but there's plenty of time for the snarling and the meanness to come out. The fight's 3 months away, so we've got plenty of time for all that carry on.
You made a point in the press conference not to ask about who's next or who could be next. Does that just show sort of your focus heading into this fight?
Well, yeah, because they're asking what's next. Everybody seems to be downplaying Jack Catterall here, and that's a given that I'm going to win this fight, which I think there's no other result apart from myself winning. I can't see it. But everybody's sort of what's next. I'm like, well, Jack Catterall's next. He's a massive task in front of me. He's a big threat. He's a great fighter. He's 26-0. Beat everyone in front of him with sort of relative ease. He's had problems, and I've seen things in his game that I'm going to expose. But he's 26-0 and he's been mandatory challenger for a while, and he's a great fighter. So he poses a massive threat. But I just believe on my night, he doesn't get anywhere near me.
Obviously not talking about future opponents, but a lot of people are wondering what might happen after this fight, win, lose or draw, whether you'll vacate the belts or sort of continue at 140. Would it have to take some monumental fight to keep you at 140, given who's at 147?
I think so. Given it all goes my way, probably the next move is to go up to 147 and challenge for a belt there, become a 2-weight world champion. But if there's a massive fight at 140 comes around, then why not? But I don't believe I've not got any more proving left to do at this weight class. So move up and set new goals. There's no more belts to win. I've won them all. So it's setting new goals, new targets. But I'm forgetting about that. It's Jack Catterall. If it doesn't go well, he then becomes the leading factor, and everyone's mentioning him having all these fights. So forget about it. It's Jack Catterall next, and that's it.
Stylistically, how do you sort of see the fight playing out between you two southpaws, of course?
I'm great against other southpaws. I neglected my boxing a little bit against Progress. I had a little bit, sort of like kind of personal issues leading up to the fight and that as well. But I kind of neglected my boxing IQ in that fight. But I won that fight handily enough, and I was coming on strong enough as well. I was coming on, getting on top of Progress. The eye closed. And then sort of come back a little bit closer. I had to be a little bit more cautious of what was putting out, because I couldn't see what was coming. So if that eye hadn't closed up, I'd come on really strong in that fight and won it really, really convincingly.
Just want to get your view. Obviously, we saw sort of Teofimo Lopez lose to George Kambosos. Did you see the fight, and what did you make of it?
I watched it. Yeah, I thought Kambosos was brilliant. Got the tactics excellent. Hurt Lopez and kind of give him a beating, really. It was a good, entertaining fight, but he beat him to the punch. He beat him up to the body and the head, and he dropped him hard, and he done really well. He surprised me. I didn't think he was going to get the win, but he did. He believed in himself, and it just goes to show, again, you can't look over your opponent like what I believe Lopez did, because it goes wrong. You've got a hungry fighter wanting all the titles, and you've got the same in Jack Catterall here. You've got a hungry fighter wanting all the titles, so that can happen. If you overlook your opponent, and I'm not doing that.
Teofimo Lopez Sr. said after the fight, 2 seconds out, that they're not going to rematch Kambosos. They're going to move up to 140, have one fight, and then fight you. What did you make of those comments?
Nonsense. He can come up to 140, but he's not getting the fight with me. He got beat up by George Kambosos. So what right does he have to come up and challenge me? He's not got anything to prove it. He's not got anything that offers on the table at 140. So what's the point? Plus, I would beat him up anyway. Give him a good beating.
And just finally, we saw Gervonta Davis, another man you've been linked with, beat Isaac Cruz. Did you see the fight?
Never saw it. I saw highlights, little bits of highlights. Saw the scorecards, quite close fight. I don't know how the fight played out. I don't know how it went, but it looked like he kind of got through it. Looked like he picked up a hand injury, I think. But apart from that, never saw it, and no interest.
Do you think you two will ever fight? I mean, people want to see that eventually.
Listen, if it's there and there's enough zeros on the pay packet, then yeah, of course. And I think it's an easy fight for myself, and a good payday. I think it's a great fight and easy win for me. But I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't think his management are going to put him in with any real threats of opponents of beating him anyway. So forget about it.
Josh, appreciate your time. Any last message? Obviously, going to be a packed out house at the Hydro come February 26th.
Yeah, just thanks for all the support to my fans, you know. Thanks for the continued support. It wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for you. You make it all worth it. So thanks for the support, and see you February 26th and keeping these belts. Thank you.